Good afternoon, and what is a warm, bright and sunny day. It is Monday the 17th of July. I've got a nice hot cup of tea and a parcel to unbox. If I can get to it, there we go, yes I can. Because I am joined in the nook by the cat who is not ours. Doesn't want to be pulled about because he's feeling all sleepy. So here we go. Get this open. Took a bit of a beating on the way in the post, but what I have got is well, this is a copy of Chew Volume 2, and I'm still waiting for the arrival of Chew Volume 1. Tony Chew is a detective with a secret, a weird secret. Tony Chew is a pseudopathic. It means he gets psychic impressions from whatever he eats. It means that he's a hell of a detective, as long as he doesn't mind nibbling on the corpse of a murder victim to figure out who done it and why. He's been brought on Special Crimes Division of the FDA, the most powerful law enforcement agency on the planet, to investigate their strangest, sickest and most bizarre cases. This collects Just Desserts and Flambe, the second issues for the Twisted and Darkly Funny series about cops, crooks, cooks, cannibals, and clairvoyants. And this is a comic. It's about 10 years or so old, published by Image Comics, and it's written by it's written and drawn by John Layman and Rob Guillory. So this is the Omnivore Edition Volume 2. It's nicely textured inside front cover. And in addition, you can find there is a board game dedicated to this setting as well, and also a role-playing game, but that's quite hard to get hold of if you didn't back the Kickstarter. So yeah, written and lettered by John Layman and drawn in colour by Rob Guillory, or Guillory, sorry. So yeah, the thing is, so essentially you have a character who, to solve things, eats. Well, not all of them, but samples from them. And it begins with a bad date. And a lot of bloody combat with some hunting there. Before we get on to essentially introducing the character and showing you what he can do, essentially eating that hot dog, he's seen how the hot dog was made, every little thing that goes into it, bone, gristle, the meat, viscera, somebody's fingernail, a blue plaster, health and safety plaster, etc. Which sets up some weird and interesting cases, because essentially the cases are written to suit the means of detection. And it's a world where you be very careful with what you can raise to eat and how you do it. So the FDA, the Food and Drugs Authority, have an awful lot of power in these stories. Let's just check. So we've got that's the cover to chapter 1. Perhaps that is, I'm not sure, not quite clear. Oh no, there's issue 1 cover, and it's going to do that the same for each of the 10 issues. And so that's the standard cover for volume issue 2, and over the page is the variant cover. So this is not your standard kind of comic book story, and that is a signature of a publisher like Image Comics, because they specialise in owner-created content that. So yeah, telling not necessarily superhero stories, although they do some superhero stories, but concentrating on interesting stories. Some of my favourite. So with Image Comics, if you go back to when they were founded in the early 90s, so we are talking 30 years ago now, they were superhero. All they published were superhero comics, and not necessarily particularly kind of good ones, but they were really hot and really popular, and people really wanted to read them. But now they have great comics, great stories, in particular really good stories. So if you look at something like Fatale or Alex plus Ada, sex crimes, and so on. These are all fantastic stories. So anyway, so we have the other variant print cover. So we have a shot from pulp. So that's so the whole thing about chicken. It's sort of like it's almost illegal. I think it's illegal to raise chickens to eat, or certainly under very certain difficult circumstances. So we have pullet fiction, and then reservoir shogs there. So a nice touch of a nice nod to Reservoir Dogs. So flipping further forward, chapter 4. So this is going to sit on my shelf for a bit, because until volume 1 turns up, I can read that. But yeah, I mean, nice artwork, interesting flow of the story. It's busy, it's interesting, and it's interesting. Sort of like got an interesting scene here just there. So you literally have a scene where you've got Tony there, literally tasting evidence, and then drawing inference from it. And it is the pretty weird form of gathering evidence. Essentially, there are sort of other psychic abilities where you can sort of essentially touch an object and draw an inference of what's around it, what happened to that object and its history, and so on. But this is one particular subject, essentially one broad kind of subject, which is food. So chapter 15, they did a trifold cover, which we see is the standard cover. We've got trifold cover. Also, she essentially does variant upon the Last Supper. So yeah, this is chapter 6, and we're beginning the new story, Flambe, and more chicken references. So, and the whole idea that it's sort of like fast food chicken being illegal. We have sites like sort of like fast food chicken outlets being derelict because the trade is illegal. And there we are. Then we have moth are cluckers. Chapter 17. Chapter 8 cover. So yeah, I do have a copy of the first volume, of sort of like the very first like 5 issues volumes somewhere, but I never got around to getting the rest. But now I'm going to decide I'm going to go and find them, and so that I can read the whole series. So, cover from issue 19, and now we essentially we're dealing with aliens from outer space. The story comes to a close with the issue 20 cover. We have some almost beatific there. So yeah, that got extras as well. So we've got different covers. And from script to page, so essentially, you know, how issue 16, page 7 went from the script to the page, and the story, and basically how the story was created from the word to the visual medium. And the terrible truth about the Chew issue 12 Poro variant, which echoes the style essentially of the Hope poster that Obama used during his election. And of course, the other thing about whole chickens and things, chicken fast food outlets is sort of like you're thinking of essentially the Breaking Bad is the other kind of story involving fast food outlets, but in a very different way. I've also got a sketchbook here. With a complete breakdown of that trifold cover. So yeah, that is Chew Omnivore Edition Volume 2, published by Image Comics. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this unboxing in the Nook. If you have, then please do click on the like button down below. If you've got any comments or feedback, I do appreciate you taking the time to post those. And lastly, if you want to be alerted to get more unboxings in the Nook, where you will see me out here with package containing a book or game, or in this case a collected graphic novel, which I will talk about to the best extent of my knowledge for roughly 10 minutes or so, all of course accompanied by a nice hot cup of tea. Then please do click on the subscribe button down below. Thanks again for watching another unboxing look. We'll be back again soon with another one. Bye for now.